Okay. We're good.
Alrighty. Thank you
All right.
everyone for joining us this evening. This is the last evening before our successful launch. Wait, okay. Yes, thank you everybody for joining us this evening. This is our last AMA in the evening before our successful launch. I might actually hold another AMA tomorrow during the day, just like a quick one before the launch, just to kind of touch base with everybody. Uh, the airdrops, I did have to pause those for a moment. I had some kids that came home, and my wife's out doing some like Christmas shopping and stuff, so I just took a few minutes to spend with them. But she'll be back here in just a few moments, and I will get back to deploying all those airdrops. Also had a couple things that we needed to look into just to ensure the viability of the launch, make sure that we were still on pace for everything, make sure everything was still up to par. And after our quick testing and reviews, we are good. That being said, I did want to thank everybody for your patience. I know, um, we had those two delays. The very first one was specifically for the airdrop function itself and making sure that that was as secure as possible and that we didn't run the risk of anybody like hijacking the contract itself in between the time that I was airdropping to the time of actual pancake swap launch. And then we got that fixed real quick. The second delay that just happened to us recently, to give a better detailed explanation of what took place there, it was a little bit more complicated than I actually first suspected. What I originally thought, and what I kind of mentioned to everybody in the AMA yesterday, was that there was a router issue um, due to like the difference between essentially the test net and the main net, and some of the routers weren't routing properly. And it was actually a little bit more complicated than that. What actually was going on is there there was a router issue. It specifically had to do with the IDEX router for the BUSD reward system, and in the contract itself internally, um, it had whenever it was calling on its point of like distribution, it had no way of like respooling that and grabbing new gas fees to cover that off of it. So we had to rework the contract a little bit. I did get that finished. Everything's working now. We actually just did another mainnet two mainnet test today, and I did one testnet test last night. Everything, and we've now officially, I can officially say we have tested every possible way that we had received any errors so far. So yeah, I feel pretty confidently that everything should be good to go now. Um, Tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that's 6 UTC. And I'm not actually familiar with UTC, but everybody asked me to give them the time in UTC. So, yes, 6 o'clock UTC, 1 p.m. EST is when the actual launch will be. I did want to clarify something uh, from last time we did this. We were about to go live and we were about to do our launch to start letting everybody buy. I know there was like a little bit of a confusion between the community itself and me on how we were going to do the launch to also allow our community members like a little bit of a window to buy in first if they would like to, before bots and everybody else rushes in. So the way I think that we were going to handle that is, like I said, I'll hold another AMA before we actually launch tomorrow. Just a real quick one, just to touch base with everybody. But beyond that, what I'm going to do is we're going to say this: if I'm giving out a time publicly, like 1 p.m. EST, and we're going to say that the community members can get in 15 minutes early, so 12:45 for you guys. I'm never going to say 12:45 because I'm not going to confuse anybody. The time for official public launch will be 1 p.m. EST. I will allow, and I will make sure it's actually enabled about 15 minutes before. But if we do any media blast tomorrow or anything like that, letting them know, sorry guys, this guy's actually asking some great questions in the main chat. So I'm going to change his role real quick and let him know that we are in an AMA if he wants to. But what sorry. So everybody will have that like period of time beforehand. And last time I did a bad job about communicating how we were handling that. This time I'm gonna try to like hit it on the head on the front side of things. Everybody who's here will have an available time period before the rest of the public to buy. I post a time about when you can buy. That is the public's time. Your time will be 15 minutes before that. You're going big black. Um, just to recap for you, because you were asking some of those questions in main chat. The launch time is tomorrow at 1 p.m. EST. That's 6 UTC. And hey, Henry, can you change this next guy's role too? He just asked, can he join too? Sorry, I got to get on that bot. I've just been a lot busier doing much more other important things. But I will get that bot fixed so it automatically assigns all these new people who are joining into the holder role so they can see the voice chat and stuff like that. Anyways, so, and I'm just going to wait until he joins so I can just repeat all this for him as well. Or her. I'm sorry, I'm not so sexist. I promise. It could easily be a her. Res sound. Okay, I'm gonna assume they're not gonna join. Anyway,
they're in.
You're
You're good.
Okay, cool, awesome. Rez, I did just want to pause real quick so I could recap all this stuff for you. Sorry that you could not join originally. I'm glad you're in now. The official launch time for the token is going to be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's 6 UTC. That being said, I did just explain to everybody within the community, we're a very tight-knit community here. We try to take care of each other. Everybody has been excellent so far in the development of this project altogether. Sorry, guys, I just sneezed.
Bless.
Thank you. We will. We will actually be launching for the community about 15 minutes before, so it'll be around 12:45 tomorrow. Right after launch Eastern Standard Time, we will go ahead and add the liquidity and allow for public trading to begin. We will not announce to the public until 1, just to try to give everybody that is here now at least a little bit of a window to get in and make some buys if they want to before there's like a big rush. That being said, if anybody's here is familiar with trading publicly, as soon as you add the liquidity, there's either people that are using programs or actual bots that will immediately start to make purchases. So if you start to see purchases kind of go through immediately, it's either a nature provider or it's a bot.
I don't think he's allowed to buy in. He broke it last time.
He can buy as much as he wants. I hope he buys it. I hope he buys it all.
Not first though.
Not first. I do have a little bit of ways to go on the airdrops that are going out tonight. I had to take a pause, but I'll get through the rest of the list pretty quickly. I just had to verify a couple things, but like I said, now I feel pretty confident and everything has been verified, and I'll resume that activity here very. I'm pretty excited. I feel I did get some sleep last night, and all I feel like we hit the snap, but I'm getting scared. They're going to make very, very clear to everybody's here, and I will post for sure. I will post this one line update inside all communities. I will not touch the liquidity that is attached to the old contract until I move it to the new contract. When you move the liquidity into a contract, like whenever I add that to PancakeSwap, the only way that I'm able to add it is to actually enable trading on it at the time of adding it. So as soon as I enable trading and add that liquidity, that contract will go live. So the old liquidity pool for the old contract is going to stay in place until about tomorrow, maybe around like 11:30 or noon, somewhere around there. I will pull it out and I will leave it in the deployer wallet until I actually pair it into PancakeSwap to create that new liquidity pool and allow the trading. I just wanted to make that clear for everybody, just so if you see any liquidity movement action tomorrow around the time of 11:30, 12, that's what I'm doing. I'm moving it out into the deployer wallet, from the deployer wallet back into the new liquidity pool. The way that works is I break the current liquidity pair that exists in PancakeSwap. I do that by surrendering my LP cake tokens, and they will release to me all the BNB that I paired into it for that. Luckily, transactions, stopped after the very first one, so there isn't any large difference or anything to deal with there. And I've already taken that up with that buyer, the person who made the purchase. Told them how I'd go ahead and fix that for them, make sure that they got what they were looking to get, and everybody's happy. So I'll just remove the entire BNB supply, and I'll just move it from where it is now directly to the new contract address, and we'll be good to go. Again, that won't happen until tomorrow, and that'll be right before launch, because I don't need the BNB in my wallet for anything right now, and it's probably the safest place it could be is in the liquidity pool that does not allow trading right now. So that's good to go. Is there any questions about the delay or about where we are in our process right now as far as the new launch? Everything's been tested thoroughly again and again and again. We just did another Supreme test on it just now, just to make sure that we were still good to go. I'm actually going to do a couple more tests whenever I get off here, continue with the airdrops, and as soon as those airdrops are done, I'll put that announcement out, of course, on Discord, just so everybody can check their wallet, just to make sure that they got them and they can feel reassured. As usual, I will, of course, actually check the BSC scan, verify every transaction ID, and compare them just to make sure that everybody did get the right amounts. Multiple people sent in too small amounts and stuff like that. So what I was able to do is I pulled from the contract that we just had to surrender, and I actually pulled all the transaction logs from that, just to give me like a third way of verifying. So I have my original airdrop list, I have my formulated airdrop list, and then I have the one that I actually dropped. And I'll cross-reference those three versus the new list that gets produced from all the transactions that I'm doing now. Everything matches up, then I know I'm good. But beyond that, I will let everybody else know within the community, hey, I'm done now. You can check your balance, make sure you got it. And the last time we did this, there actually was not a single person who contacted me saying that their balance was different or wrong or anything like that. So actually, that's a lie. One person did, but it was a math issue. They didn't know they didn't know how to divide a trillion. So I showed them how to divide a trillion, and then we were good. Okay. I am going to open up the floor for questions if anybody has anything. I just wanted to, this was a pretty quick AMA. Everybody knows where we're at. Everybody knows what we've been doing. I haven't been able to work on very much else because I've been so busy doing strictly this contract work and making sure that the launch was to go. I did post in the Discord earlier that, I am not the only team member, and the rest of the team is working on stuff currently. The dApp is further along in progress. It has not taken a pause for the contract work. I've stayed on the contract work, and I have an additional team member who's actually helping me with the dApp. I did a terrible front end for it, and they are actually redoing the front end for it now. So if anybody has seen the front end for the dApp already, I know I shared it with a lot of early community members. It will look different. They did not like my front end work, so I didn't blame them. I gave them full permission to change it and do whatever they needed to do to make it look and feel nice. That is coming still. I think that should be available on Friday. I don't want to put that in concrete words or terms yet. Who knows what will happen from now till then? And I am gonna stay focused on what I'm focused on now. But I would like to get that out as soon as possible. Everybody here probably won't ever use it or need it because of your supply and how the volume on the BUSD rewards will go. You'll get those rewards so often that you won't, like, probably very, very rarely have a need to go manually claim them or check on them. It's going to be more or less a nice tool for people who join a little bit down the road. People who jump in like a month and a half from now or something like that, they're not going to receive their rewards as frequently as everybody here does, and they will need some type of easy utility to be able to check their balances and see where the rewards are without all of us having to answer the same question a million times over again. So that's legitimately the only reason why we even made it, was just to make sure that was there to put people at ease and to stop us from having to answer that. And it plays a big part in the very next product that we will have, its Web3 connection, and that'll be our staking tool. It'll be attached to the exact same app. As well, I also know, and just because we haven't wanted to switch the focus, but we do have some NFT teaser art and stuff that we're going to share with the community. Let's just get launched first. As we get launched and we get some new community members coming in, we'll start releasing that teaser stuff for you guys. Exactly what we're working on and what it's looking. But I'm excited for it. Our artist is fantastic. He's put in some really great work. As soon as I'm not busy as I have been, me and him are gonna sit down and have one. I'll let him know background I am. He's been knocking it out in the background. So is everybody. I don't want to take words. All of you guys, y'all interact a lot with Henry, and there's other team members here that play really big part in my personal experience with this project. They help me out a lot on them. We work things out, and without all these guys, in the way that I screamer. Sorry, guys. Son wanted to tell me something. But yeah, I want to be able to function the way that I do without my actual team, and I'm sure that everybody gives them a show of love. Henry's done a great job. Lucas has been right there for me. Cody's been right there. Manny, and he's out there. I know you guys know him as a monster. Chapman is in there. These guys support me across the board. And if I missed any names, it's just because my head's kind of like mush because I code all day, every single day for the past couple. But that's not it. The community as well. I've said this a million times, but I'm incredibly impressed at how supportive everybody and the amount of forgive you guys have provided for the bumps in the road that we have made. I apologize for them. I'm going to do everything I can to make it up to you. I know I saw in the chat earlier, I know I haven't been as active chatting in the past 24 hours, but I promise it's just because I'm super busy working on the things for you guys. But I did see where somebody was asking, is there going to be like an additional reward for the holders um, that are in now that had to deal with this delay? I will say this much: I am not giving an upfront additional like amount of tokens to people. That being said, with our reserved token supply that we have locked, as soon as we do unlock that for our first staking pool, we will be offering a rewards pool for everybody who is in the community now. But what that rewards pool would be, wouldn't actually be additional like meta tokens. You would actually just be rewarded in additional BUSD rewards. And that's something that we will work out with. Yeah, sorry, that's something we will work out at the time. It'll more than likely require your PFP. Sorry, my daughter's like staring at me right now, telling me what? What is it? Because you did not unlock the door. How'd you get in the house? Oh, you unlocked it. I'm sorry. Okay. If you have kids, guys, don't let them get to like 13 or however old my oldest daughter is. She's 12. Gosh, they're so mean to me sometimes. Anyways, I apologize. Yes, but that's something that we'll talk about in the near future as soon as we get through the launch and everything. But I am very much already thinking about what we are going to do to reward the community for putting up with some of this stuff and to keep you holding and keep you enthused about the project long term. That's not necessarily anything new. Um, we are always offering rewards pools, staking pools, and different rewards for our early investors, such as like the free NFTs. What we're probably going to do now, and I don't want to put this in concrete yet, I have to work it out with the team. But what we'll probably do is we'll probably introduce like fairly quickly after the first staking pool is out. We'll probably very quickly introduce a second NFT pool. And if you happen to have one of those NFTs, it will reward with the BUSD. And that's something that we'll just work out in time. And I'll provide those details as soon as I have them. But yes, of course, if you're somebody who is, holding now, or you're somebody who's in now and you've had to deal with this delay and you actually continue to hold and stick it out with us, I'll absolutely reward you. What I don't want to do is offer everybody right now an additional, 20% on their tokens. And then we see a couple people who may or may not have ever been in it for the long haul or not, but now they're definitely not, and they dump those tokens, and it negatively impacts all of us. That's the last thing that I want to see happen. So as far as like giving an additional amount right now up front, that's not something that I'm prepared to do. There's a pretty firm reason why we launched the way that we did, and that was specifically for to not have that, that offset dump that crashes the price immediately. Is there any questions that anybody has?
I would like to say something real quick. So, real quick, guys, if you haven't already, make sure you go to Twitter and you like, retweet, and follow our page. We have a $50 BUSD giveaway we're doing, and I am picking a name in about 30 minutes. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure you go over there and get it done. Get entered.
Yeah, that's I know we know, like for instance, I know a lot of those giveaways and stuff. People think that like bots always get them, but the last giveaway that we just ended, I think it was yesterday, might have been the day before. My days are just slammed together recently. But it was a community member named Maze, I think, or Maz. I can't remember her name. But
Yeah, it was something like that.
but it is a community member, and I've seen them in here, and they've been on here recently. Anyways, so that was cool though, and that's something that we're always going to stick up with, guys. You know, we're all about giveaways, and we're all about keeping the community engaged and trying to do as many things as possible to reward anybody who is sticking it out with us. Yeah, they're in the Discord now. They're not in the They're on Discord. They're probably on their own channel, but it's Massey. Sorry, it's Massey, not May. Massey with a 3. They were the ones who won the last giveaway, 50 BUSD. And hopefully another community member here gets this giveaway today. So, like he said, if you have not already liked, followed, and retweeted, you should. And comment. I know it's not on the contest, but go ahead and leave a nice comment for us. All that engagement. As soon as I get over this little leg of the launch, I'll definitely be getting a little bit more involved with Nick on getting some of the social media stuff going and getting some of our other channels going. Like, we do have a Reddit and stuff. It's not extremely well populated yet, but we do know what we need to do as far as to get that stuff rolling and to get our Telegram a little bit more going. We just wanted to make sure that we had everything right and correct, and we were able to move forward with a successful launch before we really push that stuff forward. And on top of that, we've all been busy working out all of these little kinks. That being said, I feel good that we're right around the corner. We're almost there, and as soon as we get there, I'll kind of shift roles for a couple of days and get with some of the team members, focus on what their projects are, as well as direct community engagement, doing different contests with like our sweep widget, doing different giveaways, trying to get as much as the outside community engaged with our social media platforms as possible. All of that is in the plans. I just need the opportunity to actually free myself up and start to help on those objectives. That being said, I'm not, it's not that I'm not confident in the current team members in those roles to do it. I am, but right out of the gates at launch, you just need as many people plugging away at that stuff as possible, and that includes you guys, my community. I fully expect everybody to get their shill hats on and get out there and get some work as soon as we've got this thing publicly trading. And I think you guys will. Y'all seem like a pretty rowdy bunch. I'm looking forward to engaging in those shill raids with you guys. Is there any questions from the community?
Yeah, I got one. This is old Coach Creel.
What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm kind of what you call a crypto educator, and basically my only deal is that we well, I'm just gonna say it like this: you fellas have worked your tails off. I've seen what y'all have had to go through the last couple of days. You're to be commended for that. Do got one question though. The previous contract, when it was authorized, the liquidity wasn't locked.
Correct.
And when you're authorizing the new one tomorrow morning, will it be locked?
So the way a liquidity lock works is it's not like you're actually locking it within PancakeSwap itself. So it's not like whenever you go and you pair your liquidity pairing through PancakeSwap that it's saying, "Hey, do you want to lock this liquidity?" You have to actually take that liquidity contract and you lock that. So what happens is after I launch, I watch the trades go through, and as long as trading is current going well, as soon as all that takes place, I'm then able to set the locker. And I was going to use DX locker, but we might actually be making a change to deep locker But either way, that you'll be able to see that lock on the BSC scan as soon as it is locked. I'm really glad and happy that I did not get a chance to. I
Yep.
actually was on my way to doing that when Nature DM'd me and said something along the lines of, "Hey, I bought," and then I got another DM from Robin, one of my moderators on Telegram, telling me that somebody had already made a purchase. And then so by the time I got done reading those two messages, I had other people messaging me saying that they couldn't purchase. And it happened that quickly. So I figured it out right then and there, and I didn't lock it. But I was actually already on my way to locking it. That being said, tomorrow after I launch, I'm probably actually gonna wait like at least like 30 minutes before I put the liquidity lock in place, just to make sure that I see trades going on and everything taking place. Because for instance, I'm locking it for a year. So if I would have locked it 2 days ago, immediately as soon as I launched, like I was trying to do, then right now I would have no access to that liquidity. And there'd be $50,000 stuck in a locked pool for a year. And yes, that would not be good for anybody involved.
Well, I understand that, and actually, it actually was a good thing you didn't lock it, so you could do what you do. I understand, but
and it
the
and it did just happen to work out like that. It was I was trying to. I'm glad I didn't though. You're right.
well, I understand. Trust me, I do understand what you went through when you looked through 700 lines of code, and I do understand how liquidity locks work, but the normal everyday feller don't.
Right.
And it's just a good feeling for them to know that it's locked. And if I can go back, because I represent a group of a little over 500 that we vet tokens for people. And there's only a couple of issues with your token that I was not able to recommend it. But you guys have worked your tails off. And after this AMA, I'm going to go back and tell them what I feel based on talking to you.
Well, the other issue that you would probably see, the other issue that I like as me as a private investor would see right now if I was looking at the contract, and it was the case for the old one as well. The other flag, you might say, is right now if you read the contract, it says that the liquidity receiver is the deployer wallet.
Right.
Now, the reason for, yes, and the reason for that is because you don't have your receiving address until after you make your pair. So, like for instance, on the first contract that we did that we had to pause, I had actually already set that receiver to the actual liquidity receiver, and I'll do the same thing as soon as I launch this one. As soon as I place Pancake Swap, I'll change the receiver address to not my wallet, the deployer, but to the actual liquidity pairing address.
Well, like I said, I'm a very positive individual. I try to find the best in every group that I deal with. And you guys have worked your tails off. I gotta give you that. And what I saw, the progress you've made in a day's time, I have to commend you on that. I really do. I didn't go through your contract code line by line because I just don't have the time to. But when you just explained it yesterday, what happened made perfect sense. And the fact that you fixed it quickly, I knew you were going to have to redeploy when you were hoping you weren't, but
I really didn't think I was going to have to. I really didn't. I mean, honestly,
I heard it. It's okay, but the fact that you redeployed and you did your airdrops, which luckily it was a small one, and you're back on track in less than 24 hours shows a lot of dedication from a small team. And for you guys to be able to achieve what you've done in such a short amount of time, you've changed my opinion of the whole overall project, even though our vetting procedure y'all fall short of substantially. And we do that not because of who you are, but because of the general atmosphere that we do business in. And like I said, I'll go back to my group and change my recommendation based on our conversations today and what I've heard you do the last 2 days. So I just, like I said, I think that there could have been some things done differently if you had more people helping. But y'all have done a wonderful job with what you got to work with. I must commend you on that.
And to that point, I will say this much: here shortly, we're going to be bringing on some people. I haven't had the chance to actually start doing that, but here shortly, after we get launched, I'm actually going to start to expand the team almost immediately, for many reasons. But one of them being just that this pace and this workload, it is hard to keep up.
Well, no way.
But yeah.
I mean, I'm just telling you, the reason folks pay for expensive audits is so they can double check the code. That's all it is. For one man to have to go through all of that, it's just a lot of work. And then, if you make the same mistake twice, you're not going to know you're making that error.
Yeah.
That's why it's always better to have a second set of eyes looking at it. So you guys have done wonderful.
And just the way that we ended up like actually breaking that down to figure out what the problem was is we did deploy in VM. We deployed VM London, and I just broke it down in JavaScript to actually feed me the errors, and then I went through there to figure out what was wrong.
Well,
and now, if you actually just in case this comes up with anybody, I know I talked about how this was a one-of-one contract. It was, but I've now deployed it 4 times on mainnet. Now BSD scan will actually tell you a couple of addresses that it is familiar with that are close to the same contract. They're all
saw that too. But
yeah,
okay. Well, one-of-one means you go through there and change one line of code. You can take a boilerplate, change one line of code, become a one-on-one. So you got, like I said, I've watched y'all grow in a way that's abnormal in this space, and it's a good thing. I'm just a feller that pays attention and teaches other people how to be safe. That's all I do. I didn't buy into your pre-sale, and I may or may not buy your token because that's not what I'm about. I'm teaching people. But I want to tell you and everybody listening, y'all have done a fine job. You continue the way you're going, you're going to succeed by sheer will, if nothing else. And that, if you want to, you can achieve anything. If you give up, you'll never achieve nothing. That's just a fact.
Yes, that is fact. And this is not my first project. This is my first time that I've been the head of a crypto project itself. But I've released, a lot of larger products to the world. I was the core developing team member behind Celeb Calls, behind MajorContacts.com. See, 100 Class Key Supos. I'm sorry, my son. He has to. If I don't repeat to him what he says to me, he'll just stand there and just keep saying it again and again. Anyway, but so yeah, I mean, I've been a part of a lot of project releases, and that is just the honest truth. It's not even necessarily about raw talent. It's about dedication. It's nice to have good talent on board, but if you have hard workers and people that are dedicated to the project itself that want to see it succeed, it will. It's that simple. It will. If you just keep on at it and you keep trying and you keep, doing a little bit better each time and keep working at it, you will achieve your goals. And that's anything in life. If anybody's listening right now.
Well, let me tell you from an old feller to a young feller. because I'm dang near 60 years old. The only time you ever fail is if you quit. So if you don't quit, you don't fail. And you guys ain't quit. So you changed my mind, even though you still ain't passed our vetting. I still going to tell our folks that I feel like you're a safe investment. And for me to do that because I don't break rules, that's pretty enormous. And you don't know me from Adam, but for me to break a rule, that's pretty enormous.
And I'll swear this to everybody. I can't promise everybody here that we're gonna immediately go to the moon and it's just gonna take off and we're gonna all make trillions of dollars. But I'll promise you this: your investment's safe here. This team is dedicated to the project, not to the money. We want to. I know I can speak for our core team members. This is something that like I want to create. I want to see my envision goal become a reality. And I think it has a unique utility within a space that is lacking currently. And that in itself is a nice recipe for success. So if it happens to go hand in hand and it's successful and we create a great product and everybody enjoys it, that's fantastic. And I'm glad everybody got to be a part of it. But regardless, I'm gonna develop my project, and they're gonna happen one way or the other. That's why I do it. I'm a creator. As far as the money goes, I didn't have a full-time job before I started this. I don't need one right now. This has become my full-time job, and it's simply for the creation aspect. I want to be a part of something, and my core team members know that about me, and that's why they're on board with me, for instance. And that's how it has been for me for many years. I used to be about the rat race a long time ago, and I've told many people about this now. I have a son who's autistic, and him coming into the world changed my life drastically. And I look at the entire outlook of everything now differently because of the experiences that I've been through with him and the way that he's taught me how to perceive the world. And I can't explain it on on a logical level, but
you don't have to. It's a gut thing. You know, we can't explain our guts. Our guts just tell us the right thing and the wrong thing. And you fellers, I'm just telling you, from an old cowboy, which is what I am, I trust my gut above anything anybody says or does. And if it says it ain't right, it ain't right. You guys have done something that I don't see very often. You done changed my mind, and I appreciate it. I really do. I like to see good folks succeed. I think you learned something, and you've already said about 5 minutes ago what you're going to do because what you learned, and that in itself is amazing. Because a lot of young folks don't learn nothing. They just keep doing the same thing the same way, expecting different results, and it don't happen. So I'm proud for y'all. I'm glad you ready to roll. Tomorrow morning, don't be surprised. You got another extra 300-400 people jump in on your project. Because I'm definitely gonna when I leave here, and I'm gonna go back to my Discord and tell my folks that are depending on me to give them decent advice that you guys have straightened out your problems and y'all ready to roll. And all I can ask is that you let integrity be your guide, and integrity ain't a word, it's a way of life. So if you do that, there ain't gonna be no problems with nothing. You guys are gonna be fine. It may hit zero and it may go to the moon. That ain't what it's about. It's about you never giving up. And I saw that in the last couple of days, and it's something I don't get to see very often.
well, and I can assure everybody here that's not happening. I'm not giving up anytime soon, no matter what happens. If hit another giant roadblock at some point in the future, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna push through it. We'll get through this together. as long as everybody else is on board, I'll continue to carry this as far as I can, for as long as I can. And
Well, y'all are doing fine. Just keep on keeping on, and everything gonna be great. And thank y'all for letting me have a little bit of your floor for a little while. And I'm gonna get on off of this now and go back to my Discord and let the folks know that we've changed our minds about your token, and hopefully they'll get after it.
All right. Well, thank you, sir.
Not a problem. Y'all enjoy, and I'm proud for you. I really am.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions? Questions? Anybody got any questions?
No, I just got a comment. This is Nature.
What's up, Nature?
I just wanted to say that you're a great leader, and like for everyone in here that has any doubts, there was a time where I had sent him the wrong amount, and I did ask him to buy in more, and he could have took the money, but he told me no. So that's why I was the first one to buy. So that right there shows you that he's not money hungry, and I just wanted to put that out there. And thank you for this opportunity.
And actually, on that point, I still to this day tell somebody no on a daily basis. I at least once a day, somebody just asks me, "Hey, can I send you BNB?" No, no, you may not. And it was just a rule. It was just a rule that I made. I mean, and I'm just kind of a stickler with that stuff. Like I told the community that this is when I was going to stop taking money. So since I told the community that, I can't lie about it. So I just stopped taking money. The same way that, you know, if I say something, guys, that's the way it's going to be. I told everybody that, hey, the LP, the money collected will only ever go directly from that wallet to LP. That's the case. And unless I come out and say strongly different, like if we had a vote and we decided, hey, we're gonna send back all the BNB to everybody's wallets, that's the only way that would move outside of that. Even like the gas fees for the airdrops themselves, that BNB came directly out of another team member's wallet. So co-founder Nick, he sent me half of BNB specifically just to cover the gas fees because we didn't want the investors' money to, even though it was only going to be like $150, we didn't want the investors to have to pay that price. So he sent me that BNB. We covered all those gas fees for every single airdrop, and then we did it again today. And I might actually have to add some more BNB here in a minute. I don't know. I'll see. But that's the kind of stuff that means a lot to me as an investor whenever I'm a part of, you know, an investment. I'm not the guy that's in charge of it. Small things like that mean a whole lot. Of things that I try to instill strongly on not just myself but the team as a whole. That if we say something, you know, we're gonna try our very best to make that factual every single time. Of course, recently things haven't gone well. I've hit a couple of these snags, bro. We've had some delays, but outside of that, like if I tell you, hey, this is the way I'm doing it, this is why I'm doing it, it's always going to be the truth, especially in crypto. You can verify it. Like if I tell you something about the project, you can verify that that's the case, and you can check into that. So yeah, that's just who I am, and my team as well. Just to be clear, every single member all feel strongly about that stuff. We've been a part of projects that were not that way, that were very secretive. The founding team was always doing something funny, and everybody was always getting some weird feelings about it. So
Is that the cooler? No, I can't tell.
That's not something that we're ever going to do. We'll always try to stay upfront, honest, transparent across the board as much as possible. Does anybody have any questions?
I do have one more. I'm sorry. I went to my Discord and I forgot the time. So is that going to be 8 a.m. Eastern? And if you don't wish me to notify my group that you'll be opening 15 minutes earlier, I won't.
Please do not notify your group that will be
Some
open
guys
15
talking.
minutes earlier, and it's
Oh,
1 p.m.
Pardon me?
Sorry, it's 1 p.m. Eastern.
1 p.m. Eastern. Okay. I will not notify them then. I'll tell them 1 p.m. Eastern.
All right, thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you, sir.
No problem at all. Does anybody else have a question? All right. If nobody else has any questions, I'm actually going to step away from my computer for just a few minutes, and I'm going to continue the airdrops in just a moment. I just need to verify one thing in my own personal household. It's one of those moments where like everything got quiet, like there's no noise going on around me. And that's always so much scarier than hearing the kids laugh and cry. Because when there's no noise, it means there's a real problem. So if there's no other questions, I'm gonna go take care of that stuff. If there is any other questions, though, I'm here to answer them, and I'm happy to stick around for a few more moments and answer. Alrighty, I think we're good. I'm excited for the launch, everybody. Thank you again for sticking it out with us, and we will make it up to you. We will get this right, and we will do our very best to make sure this is successful for everybody. I appreciate you guys. Later.